Conservationists have created a giant sponge in the Lancashire Hills. This is to stop water flooding lowland towns and reduce greenhouse gas emissions that accelerate global warming. Almost 3,500 pools have been dug into the peat on Holcombe Moor near Bury in an effort to hold back rain on the plateau. Our science correspondent Thomas Moor has this report.
On the Lancashire Hills, they've created a giant sponge. Dotted across Holcombe Moor are more than 3,000 pools dug into the peat. They should slow the flow of water that used to flood the towns below.
This is a sphagnum plug.
Nick helped plant 500,000 patches of moss that should thrive in the boggy conditions.
It takes many times its own weight in water. Again, you're quite right to say it's a sponge. It's like a giant sponge over 100 hectares that we're trying to create here. And this little plant here that's been around for millennia, we always knew were important, but really is relevant to modern day society because this little plant is the key to all the success on this project.
In a healthy bog, the moss sucks in carbon from the air as it grows. When it dies, it doesn't rot because the ground is so wet. It becomes peat with the carbon locked away for thousands of years. But on Holcombe Moor, overgrazing by sheep and 150 years of air pollution have destroyed the fragile moss blanket.
A little bit that's been exposed during the moorland works, and you can see that this has dried out because it's been on the surface. And you can see how crumbly it is, and the wind takes it, and any water would just take that away and degrade it. And once you start to get gullies, then it just exacerbates the problem. So once it's all vegetated, then the peat's protected.
But this success is barely 100 hectares. The peat problem is far bigger. Peat covers 3 million hectares in the UK and it stores 3 billion tonnes of carbon. That's more than all the forests of the UK, France and Germany put together. But it is so dry that it's releasing 20 million tonnes of carbon every year. That's 4% of the UK's annual emissions. The government says it will now fund larger projects elsewhere.
We've made a commitment to restore 35,000 hectares of peatland by 2025. Well, that's only in 4 years' time. And we've already got the measures in place to set that in motion.
Repairing the damage took 6 months, but the benefits will be felt for generations to come. Thomas Moore, Sky News on Holcombe Moor.